Tesla just dropped the hammer, folks. Holy smoke, is this no jokers? I want to talk about the price reductions here with Tesla, give a few perspectives on this. Does this mean Tesla demand is weak right now? Does it mean it's in a place that it's not good, right? That's what a lot of people are kind of wondering in regards to this, okay? And I want to talk about their competitors, because in my opinion, Tesla's trying to take the #1 spot for the most sold SUV in the United States of America and many other markets they compete in. And we'll talk about their two main competitors and kind of the price points of those, and look at Tesla. I mean, it's getting close to price points there. And then at the end, I want to react to this video here from 4 hours ago. We're bullish on Tesla earnings growth for Tesla overall. So I want to hear what they have to say there and react to that, kind of give my perspective and opinion. Obviously, huge day for Tesla with earnings and everything. So yeah, going to be a busy one. Appreciate everybody. Thank you for being subscribed, folks. I appreciate y'all. If you're looking to apply to join a private stock group, private wealth group, that'll be in the description area, okay? So Tesla has reduced Model Y prices in the US. Here are the changes. And I believe they also reduced some Model 3 pricing as well. Model Y all-wheel drive, $46,000 from, it was almost $50,000 before. Model Y long range, about $50,000 from almost $53,000, right? And that's a really good one, obviously, if you're traveling between states a lot, right? You know, this is perfectly sufficient if you're just doing a lot of city driving. You're not really going to take your Model Y, you know, between this state and that state on 300-mile trips, 400-mile, 500-mile trips. Model Y performance, if you want to have a lot of fun, because that thing's a beast, about $54,000, just under $54,000 from about $57,000. So it looks like about $3,000 in price cuts there from Model Y. After the federal EV incentives, the Model Y now officially starts at $39,490. The Model Y long range starting price is now the cheapest it's been since April of 2021, folks. Okay, absolutely amazing. Now, I want to show you the top 3 most popular selling SUVs in the United States of America. Can you guess them? If you know these off the top of your head, I would say you know a lot about the automobile industry, okay? These are the top 3. The first one is the Toyota RAV4, okay, which actually surprised me. I thought it was going to be actually the Honda CR-V. This is actually, in terms of total units sold, was #1, surprisingly enough. The Honda CR-V was #2, with about 238,000 units sold last year. And the #3 last year was, yes, Tesla Model Y with 231,000 of those sold, okay? So these are 2 main competitors. So let me show you price points for brand new these versus kind of the Tesla Model Y. So I went to Toyota Las Vegas, and I want to take a look, okay? The most basic RAV4 I could find was about $30,000, just over $30,000 on there, okay? That's the most basic. And obviously when you deal with dealerships, I mean, sometimes there can be a lot of random costs that add up, and next thing you know, you're out the door and it's like $35,000 or $37,000. We all been through the dealership network. We all know what that's like, right? And next thing you know, they're trying to sell you this and to sell you that and extended warranties, and oh my gosh, holy smoke, is this no jokers, right? So those are kind of like the base models, a little over $30,000 there, right? And then you get a little more, I guess you should say premium, if we want to call it that, and you kind of get into the $32,000, $33,000 price point. This one here is $34,000, right? This one here is $35,000. They call this one the premium SUV as far as that one goes. Almost $36,000 there. This one, $37,500 here for this particular one. $38,900. So we're getting close to Tesla price points now at this point in time, right? You know, now we're just barely under 40,000 with that one there. This one, $39,600 here for this limited edition SUV, and I guess you get kind of bigger rims and a nicer exterior and things like that in regards to that one, right? And that's the most premium one I could find on the website for them that they actually have an inventory, right? So that just kind of goes to show you that Tesla's getting near price points of even vehicles like this. Now, and I don't mean this in any disrespect to the RAV4, okay, and anybody that drives a RAV4 out there, but let's just be honest, this isn't even in the same league as a Model Y. And so the fact that a Model Y, a vehicle that's a million times superior, is getting close to price points like this, I would be deathly afraid, because now people are going to think, do I want to get a RAV4 or would I rather get a Model Y? And, you know, I think anybody that has any judgment on vehicles will say, I'm getting the freaking Model Y, okay? CR-V, what are we looking at here? So I went on the AutoNation Las Vegas, And I took a look at their inventory here. They have 5 CRVs, it looks like, in inventory right now. This one's 33.3, 34.4 for this one, right? I mean, look at this thing. Oh my gosh. 35.5 for this one here, right? 37.5 for this one here, and then this one's just under 37,000, right? So once again, when we're talking about Tesla coming in at these sorts of price points, and especially once you get that EV credit, that incentive, oh my gosh, I mean, you're pushing price points that are pretty comparable to these, but with a vastly superior product. That's the thing, right? If the products were equal, then you say, okay, we're in trouble. But the product's so vastly superior, so now people that are going to go buy a CRV or are thinking about buying a CRV have to consider buying a Model Y, okay? Now, why is this such a game changer for Tesla's business model? This is a massive game changer, the fact that they're coming in at these sorts of price points. The reason this is a game changer for Tesla is Tesla, think about this for a moment. This has been a company that has sold to, let's call it the upper middle class, or even like wealthy folks, right? Things like Model S Plaids and Model X's and vehicles like that, right? And I'm telling you, when you're coming under price points after those EV incentives of under $40,000, you're now appealing to the mass market. You're appealing to everybody in the middle class then at that point in time. And that's a game changer for Tesla, because it really traditionally hasn't been that company. It's been the company that people that are doing really well drive a Tesla. Now it can become a company that the middle class can afford. And that's when you start hitting crazy big volumes. That's when Tesla's opportunity gets huge, right? And they can start moving massive amounts of units, right? And so when we talk about they're coming in with these sorts of price points, folks, and you also got to think about it. What happens when eventually they got the Mexico Gigafactory up and running? Like, what type of price points could they come in with then? And think about it. They're getting to a place when it comes to Tesla where they're able to produce their vehicles likely for far cheaper because they're getting smarter at everything they do, right? Costs can come down. They can, just do everything more efficient. And then imagine as more and more Teslas hit the road, right? People buy more and more new Teslas. Well, guess what? Used inventory is going to go up over time. As used inventory goes up, right? And then people get a new Tesla and then they sell that old Tesla or whatever. Now you have a new service opportunity, because as cars get older, what happens? Things break on them, things go wrong, right? And Tesla has that services opportunity. That's going to mean more people supercharging. It can mean a lot more people that pay for the $10 a month package that I pay for. I think it's $10 or $12 a month, right? Which is like premium connectivity, which shows me like nice satellite maps on my screens and whatnot, right? Is it as valuable as the $10 you could spend joining my Patreon? Absolutely not. But is it still $10 I spend with Tesla on each vehicle? Yes, absolutely it is, okay? And so you think about all those opportunities, right? And those businesses are straight margin. Like, it doesn't cost Tesla anything for my $10 or $12 a month thing that I pay for the Model S, and again for the Model X, right? That doesn't cost them anything extra. That's just basically, they create it, they make it work, boom, I buy it, and then every single month, I pay them $10 or $12 per vehicle. So basically every month I'm paying them, let's say roughly $25 a month, right? Think about that for a moment. And so these are just all these opportunities. And then you got things on top of that you can add, like, faster acceleration with your car if you want, and you pay a certain amount, right? Autopilot, I think is the advanced autopilot, right? I think it's $199, or the self-driving, I think it's $199 a month if you want to buy that, right? Some people are going to buy that. Some people like that. I mean, and once again, that's just a straight margin opportunity for Tesla. So when you think about where's Tesla margins, profitability, EPS going long term, oh my gosh, the trend's very exciting. Short term, 2023, it's going to be shaky, right? All these changes in price, everything going on. It's a weaker, obviously, landscape for selling higher ticket items, homes, cars, furniture, luxury goods, anything like that, right? Weaker environment for that. But dang, at the end of the day, I mean, it's a very exciting opportunity. Okay, next thing I want to react to here is this video here. We're bullish on long-term earnings growth for Tesla. Alrighty, let's hear what they have to say.
On some of its Model Y and Model 3 vehicles in the United States yesterday. Those cuts range from $2,000 to $3,000. We'll learn more about how this year's price cuts have impacted the bottom line, because Tesla is due to report quarterly results after today's closing bell.
And by the way, I will say this, okay? I've got to say this about the price cuts and the timing that these price cuts came. Very poor timing, and the reason being is the assumption is oh, Tesla just cut prices 24 hours before earnings are coming out, that shows that there's weakness in Tesla orders right now, right? So the timing definitely very poor. Whether that's the situation or not, we'll find out. But I mean, it's definitely, as far as the timing, yeah, it's not good timing. Let's just put it that way. And that's why I think the stock's likely down this morning.
Tesla is, of course, reporting those results after the close, and for a preview of what to expect.
Which, by the way, I hope the stock goes down on these earnings. I hope it goes down for the next several months. I love to be a bigger buyer of Tesla.
Bring in Garrett Nelson. He's the vice president and senior equity analyst at CFRA Research. And Garrett, you've got a strong buy on Tesla. What do you anticipate hearing today? What do you hope to hear from the company?
Sure. Thanks for having me. Tesla has a tremendous track record recently in terms of earnings execution. They've beat now in 13 of the last 14 quarters on the bottom line. And so I know, the price cut announcements have given a lot of investors anxiety, but we think really the net impact of that is that EPS growth from last year to this year is going to be sort of flattish. They earned $4.07 last year, I think.
$4.07 last year. In all due respect, I don't know if it really gives investors anxiety. It doesn't really give me any anxiety, I can tell you that. Traders, whole different situation, because now you're panicked, right? You're like, crap. Orders might come in low. They might guide down for margins or profitability for next quarter, or say next quarter is going to be bad or something like that, right? So if you're only in this for, like, let's say shorter term trade or call option, something like that, yeah, this is a concerning move. For an investor like myself, I don't care, and I'm actually hoping everybody freaks out and sells out of the stock, because I would love to be a buyer of more shares. I definitely need to buy more shares of Tesla.
You're coming in this year. I think you're going to end up seeing earnings sort of flattish with that number. But I think what we're looking for is that the long-term story remains intact. Looking out to next year, we're looking at 38% EPS growth year over year. We know they're about to start producing the Cybertruck. They're about to break ground on a new factory in Monterrey, Mexico, and they're still ramping up the new factories that opened last year in Austin and Berlin. And so really, everyone's looking for, or the bulls at least are looking for, that the long-term story remains intact.
Garrett, Elon Musk himself has talked pretty recently about what a difference it makes when you can lower the price point, that the demand is always there. It's just whether or not people can actually pay the price. And there was a story yesterday in New Jersey that they're actually ending their electric vehicle rebate program because the demand has just been too high. They're running out of money. There's been so much demand for it. If you start to see states that are no longer funding this because they just don't have the money they had before, if you see the federal programs run into snags along the way, what does that do for electric vehicle demand overall? What does that mean the manufacturers then have to do to lure in the buyers?
Yeah, so we think this most recent price cut announcement they just announced is really a response to the Treasury Department's updated guidelines regarding battery sourcing for EVs. And so Tesla responded by, the net impact is that the federal EV tax credit was cut in half for certain versions of the Model 3 and Model Y. And so Tesla responded, by lowering prices on those versions by, somewhat equal amount. And so, at the end of the day, EVs are still a very small percentage of the overall U.S. new vehicle market. Last year, about 6% of all new vehicle sales were EVs. And so
think about that for a moment. 6% of all vehicles sold in the United States, new vehicles last year, only 6% were the EVs. And yet, I just showed you this list, right? And look at Model Y, number 3 best-selling SUV, and could easily be potentially number 1 this year. And think about the Model 3. I think the Model 3 it's either number 1 or certainly up there in terms of best-selling passenger cars in the United States of America. It might be number 1 now. Just think about that for a moment. Let that sink in. And yet, it's only 6% of the market. Like, we're likely going to 100% over this decade. Think about that for a moment for new car sales. We're likely on our way to 100% by the end of the decade, 2030. Oh my gosh.
We think, there's a lot of new models coming to market, and we're very skeptical in terms of, the sales prospects for many of these models. For Tesla, we are not. There's a lot of visibility in terms of their Cybertruck reservation count. The Model 3 and Model Y remain the best-selling EVs in the U.S. by a wide margin, and we're bullish longer term on the earnings growth for Tesla.
What are the numbers you're going to watch most closely after the bell if someone's trying to do a quick read through, try and figure out if this is good or bad for the stock?
Yeah, I think everyone's really focused on the gross margin line. Tesla maintains that they can post a 20% plus gross margin. So I think everyone is focused on that. They're going to be really looking at the impact that the price cuts are having on the gross margin line, but also their guidance. They introduced 2023 volume guidance of 1.8 million units. That was up from about 1.3 million that they shipped last year. So any changes to that volume guidance, but we think they're probably going to maintain it, and also there's room for some upside to that number.
All right, Garrett, thank you. We'll be watching. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Is the Model 3 the best selling or top three? I believe it is at least top three. I don't know if it's the best selling though. I know Camry's up there. In terms of just passenger car, I was trying to look up a list right now, and it kept giving me lists with F-150s on it and like trucks and SUVs and stuff like that, just of raw passenger cars. Somebody let me know. I'll probably look it up before the end of this video, but let me know in the comment section. So as a long-term investor in this company, man, they're dropping the hammer on everybody. And the thing with Tesla, like Elon Musk said, like anytime we can drop price, we can just pull demand through, right? And that's only because they got that product. Other companies can't do that because they don't have the superior product. When you have the superior product in the market, you can drop price whenever and pull through demand if you want to make that decision, right? You could potentially hurt margins in the short term, but if you want to pull through that demand, and then obviously that hurts your competitors. Because if somebody chooses to buy a Model Y or a Model 3 versus buy let's say a Honda CR-V, that's less money in Honda's pockets, more money in Tesla's pockets, right? Bigger brand that Tesla gets. More and more customers to tell their friends and family about, check out my Model Y, look what it can do, right? And so these are just, I wouldn't want to compete with Elon Musk. That's all I have to say. I would not want to compete with that guy. He's vicious. He's absolutely vicious to compete with in this game, folks. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Thanks so much for joining me. If you're looking to join my private stock group and apply to join us in there and join us in the Tesla chat and everything like that, that will be in the description area. Much love and have a great day.